Devil fruits or Haki? Which is better? A debate as old as time, or just as old as when Rayleigh first told us about it back in chapter 597. Whichever side you tend to lean on will truly make or break your relationship with millions of One Piece fans from around the world. But not only that, because this is most definitely one of the most important questions that you need to ask your intended partner before becoming serious in a relationship. Like sure, you can accept it if she says that she doesn't want to have kids someday, but can you truly accept it when she claims that because Sora has conquerors that he's stronger than Kaido? No, you most definitely cannot. It's unforgivable. Now while they are both immensely powerful and almost crucial to some extent when trying to sail the Grand Line, there is to some degree an argument that can be made for why this power is better than that power, or vice versa. And today we're going to go through and explain each strength that comes from each power as well as their respective weaknesses. We'll also break them down into which is the more accessible and versatile in the current world of One Piece. And hopefully by the end of the video we finally find out which is the undisputed best power system in One Piece. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. Starting with everyone's favorite One Piece power system, Devil Fruits. These can range from world-defining to absolute trash, from godly powers to the power to become a jacket. In many ways, the potential is immensely high to just eat one on a Monday and become a Yonko by Friday. They are essentially a cheat code to go from a weak nobody to one of the most dangerous characters in the known world. And I think nobody has displayed this more than the Yonko Blackbeard. He was just another member of the Whitebeard Pirates, until he took the Yami Yami no Mi and began his world domination. And with his crew of only Devil Fruit users, it's easy to see why he was able to claim the Yonko position in just a year and some change. But before we actually dive into the power of these fruits, let's discuss how accessible these fruits actually are. For you see, in the beginning, they were said to be incredibly rare. Hell, in East Blue, almost everyone Luffy met along the way was shocked by the appearance of such power, which is incredibly confusing when you consider just how many people in the known world have fruit-related powers. Like in every new arc, we get a group of nearly 10 people who appear to have some incredibly powerful Devil Fruit ability at their disposal. But for some reason, everybody was shocked to see Luffy with such an ability. And also, if you start to consider even Kaido's smile fruits, they really don't appear all that rare at all. Hell, they seem to be becoming just as common as fruits that grow on trees. But remember, Oda did state that Devil Fruits are far more common in the Grand Line than they are in the rest of the world. So when we discuss the accessibility of such power, it's very much determined on where you come from. Like if you were born somewhere on the Grand Line, then yes, you'd have an easy time attaining such power. But if you were born in the East, then it's really down to just a bit of luck. You might be like Ace and find it on an island somewhere, or you might be like Luffy and have it land in your lap. Who knows? But the far more likely possibility is that you never actually find one. So for the accessibility of Devil Fruits, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Now let's talk about the accessibility of Haki, all 3 types of the stuff. First, it was explained by Rayleigh that pretty much all living things have the potential to awaken Haki, because at its core, Haki is essentially just one's extension of ambition and willpower, which instantly makes it far more accessible than Devil Fruits. But when you really dive into the different types of Haki, it becomes far more uncertain as to who actually has the potential to awaken it. Like one such example is Sanji, because at the time of this recording he has yet to gain Conqueror's Haki, and it's uncertain if he ever actually will. Because as strong as he may be, Conqueror's Haki can't be learned through any form of training. It is only possessed by those who are born with the spirit of a king. Now of course he is a prince and will most likely one day rule Germa 66, but will that be out of his ambition or will to do so? Or will it just simply be forced upon him? We don't really know as of right now, but what we can speculate is that because Sanji has never displayed any real ambition outside of simply going fishing in the All Blue, he potentially will not obtain this power by the end of the story. But we're getting a bit off topic. The point is, regular Haki can be obtained by all, but truly powerful Conqueror's Haki has a 1 in a million chance of residing within you. And it should also be noted that while even more basic types of Haki can easily be learnt along the way, without a master to guide you in learning to control and use it, it's unlikely that you will ever truly master any of these types of abilities. Which means when talking about the accessibility of Haki, you must also include the accessibility of finding someone to teach you, which is incredibly hard to do when you don't have Straw Hat plot armor. So for the accessibility of Haki, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, which places it just above the Devil Fruits. This is because while it's hard to find a teacher and even harder to awaken conquerors, the fact that someone can still become incredibly strong with just basic armament Haki makes this far more accessible than Devil Fruits. But moving on, we have the versatility and choice of power. Now for this, we first have to mention that it's impossible to know which Devil Fruit ability you will gain by eating said fruit, unless you're someone who's well versed in the Devil Fruit encyclopedia like Blackbeard. But for the most part, people just tend to eat the weird looking fruits and get what they get, which makes the chances of getting something like the Jacket Fruit far more likely than getting something like the Nika Fruit. So for Devil Fruit choice of power, it's going to be a shockingly low 3 out of 10. It only actually gets a 3 because even without knowledge of Devil Fruits, one can usually make a decent guess based on the fruit's appearance, such as the Mera Mera no Mi that looks like fire. One could assume it'd have fire related abilities just by looking at it, which doesn't make it completely impossible to predict what fruit you will gain. But now what about the choice of Haki? Well, as we mentioned before, you have the choice of learning 2 basic types and one that is kind of out of your control. For the most part, people tend to focus their attention on Armament Haki and have been seen to become incredibly strong by doing so. But while it's not as common, people like Katakuri have been able to train their observation Haki to the point where they can even see into the future. So while these may be the 2 basic types, they are extremely strong in their own right. And as for Conquerors, because you don't really get the choice in having it or not, I'm not going to mention it here, but it will come back up again later. Now for this category, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because you not only get 2 very versatile basic types of Haki right from the start, but also potentially have the 3rd option as well. This is unlike Devil Fruits where you just get what you get. Whether it's good or bad, you don't really know until you get it. So Haki takes this one. But next we have the very controversial and most difficult category to figure out, and that's the strength of Devil Fruits and Haki. This is incredibly hard to figure out because for it to be done perfectly, you'd have to go through and explain every single type of Devil Fruit in the series, which of course I'm not going to do in this video. So the only way that we can really go about it is to use the information given to us within the series, and for the most part that tends to lean towards Haki over Devil Fruits, with Kaido even stating that no Devil Fruit user has ever been able to conquer the seas. This was also made kind of apparent in the Whitebeard vs Roger flashback where we see Whitebeard using Haki to fight against Roger, even though he had full control over his Devil Fruit ability at that time, basically implying that without strong Haki, Roger most likely would have bested him with ease. And throughout the Wano arc, it was even seen that strong enough Haki can nullify most Devil Fruit abilities. This was also seen again later when Law used his Haki to nullify the female effect that was placed on him and his crew by the Blackbeard pirates. And sure, the strength of Devil Fruits like Nika are seen to be strong enough to beat most powerful Haki users like Kaido, but he, that is Luffy, was only seen to be able to do this by combining his own Haki with his Devil Fruit. So I'm unsure how much of his victories can actually be attributed to just his fruit, when most come down to a finishing punch filled with Conqueror's Haki. But for the sake of the video and the scaling within it, I'm going to put the strength of the Devil Fruits at around 8 out of 10 and the strength of Haki at a 9 out of 10, meaning currently Haki has a potential strength that is far greater than Devil Fruits. This is once again largely due to the fact that most Devil Fruits are trash and the fact that even the strong ones tend to rely on the user infusing them with Haki to be any good. But now let me quickly remind you that these are incredibly rough scales made by my own opinions and research into the series. So if you have a different opinion, well done for you, share it with us down in the comments and we'll hopefully work together to find out which is actually the strongest ability, Haki or Devil Fruits. But now let's do a quick recap before we finish off. Devil Fruits are very hard to come by within the world, and even harder to guarantee that the one you eat is any good. And even if you did manage to find a good one, you have to remember that all Devil Fruits can be harmed by Haki infused attacks. Basic Haki on the other hand is easy to come by but hard to find someone to actually teach you how to use it. It allows you to infuse weapons, body parts and even Devil Fruits themselves with Haki. It gives a strong enough user the potential to nullify most Devil Fruit abilities, and as seen by Luffy, it can unleash an attack that damages your opponent from within. So if you haven't already figured it out, Haki wins over Devil Fruits. It just has far too many positives to not come out the victor. Like as we explained, almost every strong Devil Fruit user learns Haki along the way, because it's borderline impossible to conquer the world without it. Plus when you also consider the nullification that it offers its user, it's clearly gotta take the edge in a fight versus Devil Fruits. What do you all think? Does Haki beat Devil Fruits? Or does Devil Fruits beat Haki? Tell me your thoughts down below. But with that, that's gonna do it for me in this video. I hope you all enjoyed and have a great rest of your day. Peace.